scope of what we're doing?
Yes,
Kind of
yes.
walk
So
us through your
basically, I would like to
experience
say
in this
that
space
definitely I have
and,
been working as
where you think
a,
you'd bring value.
you know,
Yeah, sure. My name is
DevOps
Gabriel.
engineer, and I have been
I've been
working with the
working as
Micron technology
I
in the
started my career
IDAO,
as a
and
Linux
I have been
administrator,
working on the
and then
various kinds
I
of
kind
build
of
and release process,
got into
including but
DevOps
not limited to
and
working
cloud.
on the Amazon Web Services,
So
Elastic Compute Cloud,
my
as well as the
experience,
virtual private cloud.
you can
I
say
was
like
also
I
working
come
on the
from more
various
from
kinds of
operations
deployment
background,
orchestration as well
and
as the
then
automation, and
currently I'm
using
working
the
for
Chef
Micron
as well as the
Technology.
Puppet
I'm
as
based
well as
out
the
in
Ansible
Idaho,
for the various kinds of
Boise, Idaho,
automation,
to be
deployment,
more
and
particular.
orchestration. I was also
Over here,
working
we are
with
doing a
various
lot
kinds
of
of
build and
release
release,
management as well
including
as the application
but not limited to
releases to the
Amazon Web
target
Services.
servers. I was also
So we are using
responsible
Elastic
for doing some of
Compute Cloud,
the
and then I've been
various
configuring
kinds of Ansible
VPC,
as
and
well as
then
the Chef and the
doing
Puppet
different kind of
cookbooks.
orchestration tool,
I was also
mostly
responsible for using
Ansible,
Jira and Atlassian tools
and
like
then
the Confluence
we
for
are doing
keeping
release
track of the
management as
various
well as
kinds of
building our application to the
documentation
target
and the
machines,
ticketing, and then I was also
using
responsible for
other kind of
deploying in the
configuration
blue-green
tools in the
environment
past
to
using
the
Chef and
Tomcat
Puppet
servers.
as well.
And I was
And
also,
I'm also
doing the
using
various Chef cookbook
some of the
creation and
Atlassian tools
using them for the
like
configuration
Jira
management. And I
and
was
then
also responsible
Confluence
for
for keeping
writing the
track
Docker
of
files for
different
various kinds of
projects,
Docker
and then
containers and
also
using the
doing a lot of
Kubernetes for the
documentation.
deployments. And I
And
would
then
also like to
I'm
say that I was
most
also
recently
responsible
heavily
for
involved with
working on the
blue-green deployment.
creation of the various
Most of our application servers are
monitoring
Tomcat,
plugins and
and
deploying the app dynamics as well as the
I've
New
been
Relic
doing
as well as the
configuration
various kinds
management,
of
and then apart from
Nagios
that, I'm
plugins
also
on the
involved with
target servers. And apart from that,
recently
also
we are using
using the Splunk as
Spring
well as the
Cloud
Elasticsearch Logstash
as
Kibana.
our
And I was also using
more
the
of a
Python as well
framework
as the
on
Ruby and the
our
Shell, and
development
I
for
was
J2E
deploying
application.
various kinds of
And
Java
then
as well as the
we
Spring Boot
recently
and the
launched
Node.js applications, and
EKS,
working on the various
Elastic
kinds of
Kubernetes Service on
Elastic
AWS.
Kubernetes
And
service on the
then
Amazon Web Services
I'm
cloud.
familiar with different kind of
And
monitoring tool
I've
like
also worked
Splunk
on the
and
Azure
Nagios,
cloud and also on the
and then
Google cloud, and I have also
also
been
New
working
Relic,
on the
and
various
then
kinds of
Logstash, Kibana,
deployments
and
on these
Elasticsearch
clouds, especially
Health
.NET
Stack
as
as
well as
well.
the
And then
Node.js applications. And I
I'm
was
familiar
also
with Node.js
responsible for the
applications on the back
.NET
end, and then
applications, and I
Spring
have been
Boot and
using the
Spring Cloud.
Bitbucket as well as the
And then
TeamCity
those would be
and
my
the Team
high
Foundation server.
level
And apart from that,
experience.
also working on the Visual Studio Team services.
Okay. So you're really focusing, more on the DevOps and the application development and the CI/CD type space, it seems.
Yeah, over here the role is very mixed. I'm doing DevOps as well as cloud, so it's a DevOps cloud role. In many companies, those two areas are little, separate, but in our company it's mixed.
Sure. Okay. So let's talk about maybe more of what you're doing on the cloud side. Just a little bit of background on what kind of an IT company Autoliv is. For a very long time, we have had mostly a buy off-the-shelf software and integrate versus build. Obviously we do have developers that work for us, but it's a much smaller community within Autoliv, and like I said, we're more buy, install, and configure. So we have a lot of unicorns in the environment, shall we say? It's not like we have a stack that we're deploying over and over typically. Now we are having discussions about what do we want to be in the future, and this is something that we have on the roadmap for the cloud practice. Is probably late this year we really want to start having discussions with the development groups that we have about, do we want to start to become a little bit more of a development shop? I don't see us going, too far, to the other edge of the spectrum, but, I think, maybe more. And then, how much do we want to start leveraging, true DevOps? So, we are using Jira, for example, for problem management, but, for example, we don't even have a globally standardized code repository or a CI/CD tool or anything along those lines. So, really developing more of a mature pipeline, I think, is something we want to get into. We're not ready for that yet. Also, before we get into there, we really want to start automating much more. So, I want to talk about your automation experience a little bit more. Kind of getting to where, okay, we're not doing full, like code release management type things yet, but to get into more infrastructure as a code type concepts, I think, is fairly interesting. And we're also talking about how are we going to do hybrid multi-cloud management. And we have a fairly small IT team for how big of a company we are. So we need to do more with less, and kind of have the more we can simplify our management frameworks, are interesting. So we're thinking about things like Terraform. I think is fairly interesting in this space, but also you mentioned Ansible and Puppet, I think, as well. We really want to look across all of this, and we're like, okay, how do we bring it all together? At the same time, most of our infrastructure today, we're probably about an 80% Windows shop, with Linux having a strong place in a lot of our engineering tool set, mostly. So that's the other question is, how much do we want to really start shifting into open source, or how much do we want to stay on Windows? So some of your Linux and open source experience is something that we definitely want to increase our capabilities here. So talk about the cloud side and what you've been doing there.
So basically on the Amazon cloud, I have been working on almost 15 of the services, including but not limited to working on the Amazon Web Services, Elastic Compute Cloud, as well as the virtual private cloud. I was also using the relational database service, Elastic Cache, as well as the Route 53 for DNS, and also working on the Elastic Load Balancer and the application load balancer and network load balancer and the classic load balancer, and working on the Elastic Block Store volumes, and using the Elastic file system, and then also using
classic load balancer. And then I have been working on
Amazon command line interface, and using the CloudFormation templates and the CloudFront, as well as the content delivery network, and also using the Amazon key management service, and the Amazon Elastic Beanstalk, and the Amazon Lambda. And on the Google Cloud, I have been using the Google Block Storage, as well as the Compute Engine, as well as the App Engine, and also using the Google Resource Manager. I have also used the Azure Resource Management templates, and I have been also using the Azure
Elastic Beanstalk,
virtual machines, and the Web App Service, and the Visual Studio Team Service, and the Team Foundation Server, and all of these things I would like to say in this case.
DynamoDB will be another one. We are also using a NoSQL database, and then that would be on my AWS, and I do have experience on Azure and GCP as well.
Okay, let's go over to Azure. What's your experience there?
Yeah, sure.
So basically, I would like to say that on the Azure platform, I have used various kinds of Azure Resource Manager templates, and I've been using the Azure Active Directory, as well as the Visual Studio Team services. I have also been using the Web Application Service and the Service Fabric for running the microservices. I was also using the Azure Kubernetes Service and the Azure Container Registry for the various kinds of storage of the container images, and I was also responsible for using the Azure command line interface, and I have also been using the Azure Identity and Access Management and the Azure Networks for the various kinds of stuff I would like to say in this case.
For our container image, and then I have been using Identity and Access Management, and so those would be some of the Azure PaaS services I've used.
Okay, great. And then okay, so you're using these PaaS services. Are you actually building application environments on that, or
yes? So basically, we are running various kinds of microservices in that, and I was responsible for using the Visual Studio Team services and the Team Foundation server, and we have been recently using the Octopus Deploy for the deployment of the application to the various target microservices running on the Service Fabric on the Azure. And I would also like to say that I was also responsible for working on the various
we are deploying more. We are leveraging, because Micron strongly believes that you should not put all your eggs on the same basket.
And
so
I would also like to say that
we are leveraging
we have various kinds of
mostly Azure and
Resource Manager templates, which will help us to provision the infrastructure.
We are doing a lot of Service Fabric, and then I'm also I've been writing a lot of ARM template, and then recently
and I was also responsible for integrating with the Azure Active Directory and using the Web Application Service. In this case, I would like to say.
So we are using Terraform as well.
Okay. So you have experience with Terraform then?
Yes, I do have experience with Terraform.
Great. Okay, good. Do you have any experience with hybrid cloud? And by hybrid
yes, I have
cloud,
been using the hybrid cloud, and I have been using various kinds of hybrid cloud management tools like
we're very heavily virtualized with VMware on-premise, so that's kind of our platform there.
Cloud Forms, and then apart from that, I would also like to say that I have also got experience in using the on-premise as well as the cloud for the various kinds of application deployments and running the applications.
Tolerance for certain functionality at our manufacturing facilities, especially. So as we put together some of these things, we're trying to figure out, for those components, is this something we deploy containers, or is this something we want to maybe use, services like Greengrass, or what else do we want to do, kind of in the VMware space potentially? Any experience with those kind of patterns?
Yes, I do have experience with hybrid cloud. Mostly, some of our on-prem is running on VMware, and then
so we are having the on-premise which is running on the VMware, and we are having the Azure, and we are using the Azure Express route for connecting this, and we have the VPN connections, and then apart from that, we have the VPN concentrators, I would like to say in this case, and we are having the databases on the cloud on-premise, and then we have everything else on the cloud.
And then I have experience with using the Azure Express
and I would also like to say that we have also used some of the on-premise Active Directory, and we have migrated that to the cloud, I would like to say in this case.
On-prem and then cloud using on-prem Active Directory, and then we are we recently migrate many of our applications, but we still have presence on-prem environment as well.
Okay. Sounds good. One thing I noticed, it seems like you're jumping from job to job about once a year.
So basically, this is actually because I am working as a contractor, and I like to be a contractor. And I'm the person who always want to be, in a contract mode, but then maybe I'm always open for the full-time as well, I would like to say. So full-time is also something which I'm looking at.
Most of my jobs has been a contract job. So, and then in many times, I was brought in to do certain function, and then once that thing was done, the leadership would decide that I was too valuable resource to keep for, that amount of dollars. So, and then they would just tell me that, hey, they would give me the heads up, hey, we are running out of budget, and then things of the nature. So I would have certain 2-month period to find another job. So that's one of the reasons, and it's not that, in some cases,
So you have interest in finding, a home with the company for a longer period of time?
Yeah, I've been looking, and it's just when you're a consultant, you are billed for, certain amount of dollars.
Sure.
That would be pretty high for company to convert sometimes. And many of the company I've worked are small companies, and then.
So I think maybe initially 6-month contract would be what I would be looking at, and then maybe after that, I would be actually, more comfortable
have you been to the? You're not too far away from us, but have you been to the northern Utah area? Any interest being in this area?
Yes, I have been to Utah. A friend of mine actually works in American Fork.
Okay. Yeah, so we're on the other side of Salt Lake City, up in the Ogden area. So
it's a beautiful place. You'd love it.
Thank you.
Sky, I need 10 seconds to change my headset battery. I'll be right back.
Yeah, Google. A couple of questions from my side.
I want to know,
the way our teams are structured. We're a global team, and so the architecture team, although we are concentrated here in northern Utah with the guys who are working the cloud architecture effort, Ryan and a couple of others in particular, but we also have team members all around the world. We've got a lot of folks that we work with in Europe. We have a few people we work with in Asia. And so sometimes it requires some flexibility on working hours. Oftentimes we're taking calls 6 a.m. and such, and so we have a little bit of flexibility in how we manage our day, but oftentimes we do need to be available to participate in off hours times. Is that an issue for you?
That wouldn't be any issue because
I don't think that would be an issue because I have been working in the onshore and offshore model, and I was on call and I was responsible for out of office hours. Calls with those teams. I would like to say in this case.
Is that a team? Is that a team through Robert Half or another company?
Yeah, the team. This company through Micron, the company I'm working for.
Okay. Yep. And travel, we do at times need to travel with the team. It's not necessarily heavy for this position, but maybe 3 or 4 times a year may need to go somewhere in Europe or elsewhere. Do you have any restrictions or concerns with your ability to travel?
There is no restriction, or like I should be able to travel freely, so that shouldn't be an issue.
And personally, you're okay with it?
Yeah, I would be fine. Yeah.
Okay. And then, are you currently on a contract that's winding down with Micron? When's your availability?
Yeah, I can be available in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, my contract is officially ending next Friday,
Okay.
and then I would need a week to relocate.
Okay. And are you looking for? So I'm not sure what we engaged with Robert Half on this one. Are you looking for a permanent position, or are you looking for a contract position?
Yeah, from what I heard from Robert Half, it would be like a contract to hire possibility. So I'm open to that.
Our preference.
Yes, I'm open to that. Yes.
That's what we've arranged.
Okay, perfect.
So, Dhruva, let me ask you some philosophical questions for just a minute, because part of what we're sorting out overall with our cloud strategy is the whole questions of what we use the cloud, should we put in the cloud, what shouldn't we put in the cloud, how should we architect between on-premise and in the cloud, and some companies, you have radical positions where some companies may want to say, you know what, we're going to lift and shift everything and put it in the cloud, and other companies say we're not going to put anything in the cloud and such. What is your philosophy? What do you think for a tier 1 automotive manufacturing company that's producing seatbelts and airbags and such? What do you think our cloud presence should be?
I think your cloud presence should be great, and I think you should be having a lot of machines on the cloud, and if required for encryption, you can actually do the encryption on the cloud. And I would like to say that most of your workload should be on the cloud, so I would like to say that we can, put the stuffs on the cloud, so that should not be a problem in this case. And we can also use the encrypted volumes on the Elastic file system, as well as also use the encryption of the data at rest and the data in motion, and then also use the S3 bucket encryption. And apart from that, also using the various kinds of SSL certificates which are available from the Amazon key management service, and then also using some of the VPN connections which are used for the connection to the cloud, I would like to say in this case.
I would also apply various kind of SSL certificate to be available from the Amazon key management service, and then I would require a VPN connection, which would basically the connection to the cloud as well. And then those would be some of the, I would do everything I can to make it secure. And then like now we are in the time, like even the federal government is in the cloud. They have government cloud, so that shows that everything is secure in the cloud. And then I actually did a small POC on the security. Actually, the security of the cloud is even more secure than the on-prem. That's
is that from what you have observed personally?
Yes, that's what I have observed with AWS actually, because I have we do a lot of deployments, and then we do a lot of post-put request for our different application deployment, and then that's what I have come up with is AWS has been more like in terms of the data breach or encryption. You can do multiple levels of encryption, especially in data, whenever we are trying to do the transport of the data. So yeah, lift and shift is good if like some
So I have also worked on the lift and shift migrations to the cloud. So apart from that, I would like to say that I was also responsible for doing some of the lift and shift migrations and then migrations of the data center.
Lift and shift, and then I would still leave certain applications. Those are let's say if we are trying to store certain private information about our company, maybe like certain those would be more towards I would still I trust cloud and then everything in the security of the cloud, but still I would if I were to make the decision, then I would still keep some of my most of the business logics and things of the nature still on-prem.
What about from the commercial aspect? Do you think it's commercially advantageous to be more aggressive towards moving things?
So basically, I would like to say that I would say that the cloud is commercially very much viable for running the various kinds of things inside that. So I think yes, cloud is really cheap, and it really makes sense to move to the cloud. And I would like to say that the cloud really gives you good deal. And if you go for the reserved instance pricing, you will get a good discount on the cloud pricing, I would like to say.
Company, and then people would access the resources from different part of the world. And then we can also do like reserved instance pricing, which would give us discount. And then so yeah, commercially I think more like you can save almost 60% cost to value by moving most of your applications to the cloud and hosting it on-prem.
Okay. Looks like you've worked a bit with Jira. Comfortable with that?
Yes, I've worked with Jira. Very comfortable with creating,
Yes, I was very comfortable with creating the various kinds of issues on the cloud. And then apart from that, I was also responsible for, troubleshooting the issues and then provisioning the infrastructure on the cloud, I would like to say in this case.
Very good tool to track the progress, and then also very visible tool for leadership to look what is going on. So yeah, I personally like Jira compared to Remedy and other tools out there.
So how would you rate yourself in your experience in working with the core big name of AWS versus Azure? Would you consider yourself an expert in both of those environments?
So basically, I would like to say that I'm an expert on the Amazon Web Services, and then apart from that, I have also got good experience in using the various kinds of deployments on the Amazon. So yes, I would like to say that I have also been always working on the almost more than 20 services on the Amazon Web Services, and then apart from that, I would also like to say that I have been doing some of the
subject matter expert on Azure.
Planning of the applications, and then also a subject matter expert on the Azure cloud, I would like to say, which is going to be one of those things which also I think as my
Azure
strong points.
Like there are a lot of things I'm still navigating through the Azure, to be honest with you, but I do find it very similar, and then a lot of things are named differently but do the same purpose. So
what's your experience specifically in the AWS space around really AWS best practices? Are you familiar with like the AWS well-architected framework, landing zone frameworks, other kind of best practices? Is this something
so basically I would like to say that the various kinds of best practices I have been using on the Amazon is that using the security enhancements and also using the web application firewall, and then apart from that also doing some of
using the web application firewall, and then apart from that I've been doing some of the work. Most recently, it has been using encryption on the
and then also using some of the high availability deployments and using the Elasticsearch Log/Kibana, and for the log management, I would like to
high
say
availability deployment, and then using Elasticsearch,
and also various kinds of
log management, and then
planning and releases of the application.
Very much of the planning and the releases,
and then rolling back if there is a problem in the application.
With the development team, and then also I have kind of worked with rollback procedures if there is a problem we hit while deploying the application. So
do you have any experience working with like actual business owners on things of gathering requirements and translating those into technical solutions?
Yes, definitely. I would like to say that I have been working with the various kinds of business users, and then talking to their requirements, and then understanding what they really need, and then apart from that also understanding what they really want, and then provisioning the scripts and all those things for that, and then also using it for various kinds of
see how much automation
planning, and then various
so
kinds
that,
of
the least resource
provisioning of the infrastructure. So definitely I would like to say that I've had good experience in working with various stakeholders, and then
we should provision the infrastructure, and then I also have
and also creating the configuration management as well as the various containerized scripts, which will actually help me in doing that.
Also trying to suggest configuration management, and then also the scripts, multiple scripts, automation scripts, especially to help out in the process.
Okay. Good. Sorry, I'm scanning through to look if any other questions. Have you handled the so we talked a little bit about the Docker, Kubernetes, AKS, those type of technologies earlier. Have you how have you approached the challenge of if you're running in Azure, AWS, and VMware on premise, how to manage different Docker, Kubernetes environments where they're kind of different per stack, and there's really not great tooling for enterprise management and visibility across these stacks. How have you approached that challenge, or have you?
So basically, I would like to say that I will be actually using one of the tools which is used for the management of the multiple clouds, which is called the
one tool which could be used on multiple clouds,
and then I would also like to say that I have been having various kinds of configuration management scripts which are cloud agnostic, and they can be used, which are written inside the chef, and they are actually cloud independent. So basically writing the various kinds of Ansible playbooks and the chef cookbooks, which can be used across the Google as well as the Amazon and the Azure cloud, I would like to say. So they are common cookbooks which we write for multiple clouds, I would like to say.
So trying to kind of leverage just one tool across the different environment, and then so there, whenever we are present in multiple cloud, but it's still keeping the same tool would help us to basically let's say I'm running into the issue.
So yes, I would like to say that I will be having scripts which will be used across multiple cloud platforms, and then I will be kind of doing that in this case.
What I can also basically in terms of the resources too, our DevOps engineers would have similar kind of troubleshooting experience, and then so we can leverage those skills on different cloud as well. So keeping the same tools, that's what I have seen. I have actually also in the past I have used Chef to do the configuration management throughout the multiple cloud environments like AWS or Azure or on-prem. So using those kind of tools, which can be leveraged through multiple clouds and multiple infrastructures.
Sure. Do you have any experience at all with ServiceNow?
Yes, I have been using the ServiceNow for the creation of the tickets, and I was actually using it for my on-call stuff, wherein we were actually using, creating the various kinds of tickets inside the ServiceNow, I would like to say.
Change management, that type of experience is good. So.
Yes, basically we have a small team. They are using ServiceNow. There is a push from leadership to make that as a standard tool. I'm kind of I like Jira, for for incident management, and but ServiceNow has a lot of features that you can create.
So basically, I have been using various kinds of problems and change management as well as the change approvals inside the ServiceNow, which I have been creating in this case.
We're a pretty heavy ServiceNow customer, but we also, we have Jira as well. So us is like end user incident management, that's ServiceNow. But we see more like bug and issue tracking. We're using that if it's in scope of a project. We're doing that more in Jira. So a little bit of a kind of a cross strategy there. But if the system is actually in production and then something is down, that goes for ServiceNow definitely. And then we might go also create an issue in Jira and then link that to the ServiceNow instance.
Yeah, one of the a wonderful feature I saw about ServiceNow is they do all the you can open spin up the instance, and then it could be hosted by the ServiceNow, so you don't have to really manage anything. Just use the service. So
Yeah, absolutely. We're also using them for our service catalog. So occasionally we want to automate things that may go into these environments. And the question is, do we use the ServiceNow automation engine for that, or do we use that to plug into another more infrastructure management and automation tool? Anyways, a lot of stuff that we need to define as we continue on with this. So good, Scott. I think that's most of my questions.
Will, do you have any questions for us?
I want to know, what is the team size and what is the day-to-day activities and what is the next steps in the interview
process?
Well,
the step would be for Ryan and I to reconvene after we've spoken with you, and then we'll decide next steps from there. The next steps from there would be probably one of three options. Number one, we pass on you and we look to other candidates. Number two, we might want to have you come in for a face-to-face interview. And number three is where this is starting out as a contract situation, we may just go back to Robert Half and say, okay, let's start him under contract and we'll go from there. So it'll be one of those three options depending on our conversations, and we may have a touch point or two with HR. HR might want to have some influence on that decision as well.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Nabil. I appreciate your time.
Same here.
Talk to you later.
Thank you so much for your time.
We'll let you know soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.